Oregon's local communities were greatly impacted by the devastation brought by the September 2020 wildfires. Douglas County especially is still reeling from the impact that these fires had on our local community. The Mainstream's news team sought to capture the impact that these fires had by looking at the damage, the recovery process, and what the future is going to look like for Oregon's forests.
Douglas County has experienced a tremendous number of fires and acreage burned within the last year. Although it doesn't relate to the last decade, it does relate to nearly a century ago. In the 1930s, we experienced a tremendous number of fires and acreage burned as well. Over 1 million acres were burned, and although it wasn't forestry per se, it was a lot of grasslands, forestry, brush, all kinds of stuff. And the reason it relates to this year is because we experienced a drier and warmer season, meaning that we had drought and we had warmer temperatures. Those two combined are not a good combination. Both of those conditions also relate to why we are experiencing more within the 21st century itself. We have seen an increase per decade just in the 21st century of fires and the amount of acreage that has been burned. And although there's not nearly as much as we can do to stop fires completely, we can be prepared within ourselves, in our homes, and through our organizations. My name is Peyton Manning, and I am the design editor for the newspaper, The Mainstream.
The reason why we're talking about fire season during the winter season when it's so rainy outside is because last year's fire season really destroyed our community. Hundreds of thousands of acres were lost, along with many homes. The fires are still burning up the roots of trees, which means we're still technically in fire season. We also saw a significant decrease in our waterfall this year, which means we're probably going to have a pretty bad fire season again. We're trying to put it out on the media for our community to give tips and tricks on how to make this fire season just a little bit better. My name is Savannah Peterson, and I'm the social media manager for the Mainstream.
Last year's fires had a tremendous impact on our community, so this year we need to be a little bit more prepared within our homes, businesses, travel lives, and just our community in general. One of the most important things that I've found during fire season is the importance of defensible space, which is pretty much eliminating flammables and dead brush from around your home within 100 to 200 feet. It's important because it gives your home or business a less likely chance of catching fire. So, I am Robin Garcia, and I am a reporter for the Mainstream.
This Wildfire Recovery series was an eye-opener and amazing opportunity to learn new things that's happening in our community. Last year was devastating, especially since we were not prepared for the fires that happened. One thing that stood out to me was that embers and small flames are the main causes of house fires. Learning about how to create defensible space around the home is helpful for firefighters, especially with the impending fear of a horrible fire season this year. By writing about this, we hope that it can be helpful and an eye-opener to the problem at hand. Oregon is usually known for its rains, and we are still trying to recover from a drought that happened a couple years ago. I am Katie Gray, and I'm a reporter for the Mainstream.
As a former EMT and fire science student, I really enjoyed seeing the Mainstream series cover so many different aspects of the recent fires. The series provided coverage not only on the current happenings with the fires, but on preventative measures that can be implemented by the community. Insights into the proactive plans and measures within the logging community and the regulation networks offered a sense of ownership and responsibility that created a sense of reassurance that was needed during this time. My name is J.R. Williams, and I'm a reporter for the UCC Mainstream.
My job at the Mainstream requires me to process pictures and lay out web pages. The idea for the Wildfire Recovery series came from a desire to understand and learn more about the long-term effects that last year's wildfires would have on the community. And also, it gave us a great opportunity to be able to share this knowledge with our readers. My name is Casey Buxton, and I am the web editor for the Mainstream.
This year, The mainstream wanted to look at how the past fires have impacted Douglas County. One of the things that I really wanted to examine was some different perspectives from our community as to what individually impacted them. One of the first people that I reached out to was Toby Luther, the CEO of Lone Rock, to look at what Lone Rock's experience has been. And I found an incredible story that I never actually expected to find. Yes, there was devastation, but there was more to the story than simply the statistics of how much land they lost or their damages to their equipment. There was actual personal stories from Luther especially and his workers about the emotional impact that the forest fires have had. It's incredible to hear their stories of going out there every day to look at the devastation themselves and have to go in and clean it up. To me, that was the most impactful thing of this entire experience. Even though I grew up in Douglas County and have lived here my entire life, I've never been an outdoorsy person. And so I did not expect to develop such an appreciation for our forests as I have listening to their stories. I also wanted to examine some other perspectives from the community. So I reached out to the Forest Service, the Douglas County Forest Protective Agency, and a couple other resources and individuals who work in the forest industry to ask them their perspectives on a very controversial topic, forest management. I ended up learning so much that I never expected to learn, and if anyone ever has any questions on forestry, I can answer them now. But one of the things that I really appreciated was how in-depth each of them took time to explain to me their own perspective on forest management and how it really looks different for all of us. My hope that this series has to impact the community is that people will begin to understand more about our forests, yes, but also develop the same appreciation that I've been able to grow. Not only that, but to call on our community to be better stewards of our forests and our homes so that in these coming months, when we're back in fire season, that we're all a little bit better prepared than last year. My name is Faith Byers, and I'm the managing editor of The Mainstream.